Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today you're joining me for the Rebecca Moore 500 subscribers celebrity hop. I've chosen this layout that you can see of Rebecca's that I'm going to scrap lift for my video today, and let's get started. I always print out a copy of the image if I'm going to scrap lift or I'm going to be inspired, and keep it to hand so it's going to stay around in the top right hand corner. I really like the fact that she's got the circles going across and the mixed media going down the page. So you can see I'm just adding some washi tape to my stencil. This is from the Wildflower and Honey selection of stencils by Vicki Boutin. And I'm putting it at a bit of an angle. So using the washi tape, I've covered a couple of the flowers that I don't actually want to put texture paste through. So it's not so square like the actual stencil itself. So I've got them at an angle with one at the bottom, and I'm quite pleased with how that looks. Just a little bit of texture paste there, and I've wiped that off. Once that was a little bit dry, I've come back in again with the stencil, which I've washed in between. I'm going to add some more flowers at the top. So this is what I'm adding instead of the circles that Rebecca's got on her layout. So hopefully they'll look like cascading flowers when I've finished. So I'm just using a palette knife to put a bit more texture paste through this stencil again. And then I'm going to leave that to dry, and I'm going to come back in one more time. I just want to add some random flowers either side just to make it look a little bit more freeform. And so out with the washi tape again. We've all got lots of washi tape that we never finish, so for me this is a perfect use for it. So there's one flower. I'm going to add a couple more around the sides. So I really like the fact that Rebecca's used two colours in hers, mainly blue and black. I'm going to use black as well, but I'm going to use pink as well on mine, which you'll see as the further we go. So one last flower, I'm just masking it off again on the stencil, and then I'll be done. One of the hardest parts for me when making a mixed media layout is the fact that I need to let it dry in between. I do have a heat tool, but I've got a bit of a reputation. I've managed to burn the backs of a couple of layouts over the years, so I don't use it unless I really have to. So now that the texture paste is dry, I've come in with a couple of ink oxides. I've watered them down, and I'm using a paintbrush just to apply them in and around the texture paste flowers. I'm always a little bit timid when I start a mixed media layout for some reason, so you'll find that I start with the pale pinks, and I've really watered it down. What I forgot to tell you at the beginning is this white cardstock. Not only is it a heavy cardstock, but I actually put some clear gesso on it as well, just to make it easier to move the ink around when it was wet. So I've added a little bit of a brighter pink there as well. I think that would be pickled raspberry. I think the other one of the others is definitely the new Kitsch Flamingo. I really do like the ink oxides, and I'm now actually trying to make the pinks a little bit darker and maybe highlight the flowers a bit. I feel that now they've got the pink around them, they're not as obvious as they were when it was just texture paste. But I need to just be patient. So I've let that dry a little bit, and I'm coming back in with darker colours and a few splatters just around the rest of the white cardstock. The darker pink in the centre is from a Mr. Huey spray. I don't know whether you remember those. I've still got quite a lot of them in my stash, and even though they don't spray very well anymore, they're really lovely colours and ideal for this sort of thing. So this was Pretty Pink that I'm adding as the brightest pink over the flowers. So I'm actually just enjoying adding little bits and pieces as I go. Really pleased with the colour of pink that it's now looking, so just going to add a few more small splatters with a little brush, and I'll put it aside to dry. I wanted to stamp some flowers, so I had a good look through my stash and I found two sets of Vicki Boutin Stampin' Dies. One is the Colour Kaleidoscope So Fun set, and the other one from the All the Good Things floral set. So both of them are a couple of years old at least. So I chose the flowers from both sets, and I'm just using a VersaFine in black just to stamp them on some thin cardstock. I don't know how many I'm actually going to need at this stage, so I just merrily keep stamping. So if some don't turn out fully, there's a couple there, particularly of the bigger ones, I'm not too worried because I'm going to have plenty to choose from. So I use both sorts of flowers so I can mix them up on the layout, and I just work my way around the cardstock. Quite pleased with how dark they look. I mean, I know they look a bit too black at the moment, but I think they'll be fine when the layout comes together. So I've gone back to my Distress Oxides and I've got some finger daubers there, and I'm actually going to start to ink over the stamped flowers. As you can see, I'm not being very careful with the ink. I'm going a little bit outside the lines. That will become more obvious when I start to cut them, die cut them. But also I wanted to do them different shades of pink. So I'm just mixing it up, trying different colours. Some of them I've done the centre difference to the outside, depends how I was feeling. But very easy to do, very quick. There's not dies for all of these flowers. I think 4 out of the 6 actually had matching dies. So I cut the ones that had the dies first, and as you can see on the board it left a little bit of an outline around them, so I hand cut the rest to match. Now I've got these 2 little gadgets. I've had them in my stash a very long time, and they're for actually curving the petals of flowers. I think I had them from when I was a card maker. But basically, if you lean on something like this foam pad I've got there, it helps bend the paper and turn it more into a flower shape. I have no idea what they're called. It took me a little bit to find them, but I knew they were there somewhere in my stash. And I use them. I think they're more effective on the smaller ones than the bigger ones, but I just think it adds something and saves the flowers all being totally flat. So I'm going to work my way through doing a few of these. Yet again, something quite easy to do and nice effect. So the base is dry. I've got the sketch again, the layout again, sorry, in the top corner, and I've got a photograph which is actually me from a good few years ago now. So instead of the circles that Rebecca's used, I'm going to use the larger flowers. I'm still in 2 minds whether I wanted to use 3 or 4. Rebecca's got 4 circles across hers, but I do settle on the 3 in a similar placement as I'm looking at now. So I'm just moving some of the flowers around, just seeing where I'd like them to lie on top of the mixed media. Rebecca used snowflakes on hers, so this is a little bit different, but anything could be used. Maybe stars, hearts. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a winter theme, or flowers like the one I'm using now. I like the fact that even though to me they look very similar layouts, they may to you look very different. I want to increase the black that's on this layout, so I'm just bringing in some black cotton to tuck behind some of these flowers. Missy Widden always makes it look really easy. I don't think it is, but I always like to give it a go if I can. So just twill in a bit of black thread. I'm going to put it behind the main flowers and the larger one at the bottom of the page, just to emphasise the black. I think this was a bobbin that I'd put together from a sewing machine, but it wasn't right, so it's perfect to use on this layout. So I went through my stash, continuing with the Vicki Boutin ranges to see if I could find a title and any bits and pieces just to finish off this page. And I found this Happy Soul die cut. I think that would make a good title of me in my parents' garden. So I'm just working through, looking at the chipboard, seeing if there's any black chipboard strips that would be perfect to add, similar to Rebecca's on the right there. So I'm just going to go through, see if there's anything. And I quite often do this, cut out the ones that I think might be useful with the backing still on. So if not, they can go back in the packaging, as you can see by the bits missing from some of these. I tend to keep all my ranges together once they're not current. So I've got a box full of Vicki Boutin, so these are all from different collections, but that doesn't bother me at all. So I'm just working my way through, seeing if I find anything better than the phrases that I've actually already picked out. But I'm quite happy with the way things are looking so far. So I'm not looking for too many pieces to add in. But you have to look at it all, don't you? I find that I do. Just in case there's something hiding that might be even better than what I've already picked. So I'm just having a little look through. So see that I might use that tab. In fact, I don't in the end, but I've stuck it to the glass mat as a potential while I have a look again at Rebecca's original. It's like the who's who of Vicki Boutin ranges as I look at some of these sticker sheets. But I think it might be something on this one, but if not, I think I'll be quite happy with what I've already picked. In fact, I'm sure I've seen that one already today, but I might have actually have purchased it twice because I really do like her ranges. I don't seem to be able to find anything that I want to add. So I'm going to take this off camera and just stick these down. So here's the finished layout in all its glory. I'm really pleased with how it looks, and some close-ups too. Please carry on around the hop, and there's so many wonderful ladies taking part. So there's lots of lovely layouts to have a look at. If you like what you see, please subscribe and give me the thumbs up, and I hope to see you here soon. Thanks for watching. Bye now.